Welcome to the top story. Today is episode 4, productivity and focus. Hi, my name is Uzma Golindas, an ambition and unambiguity coach, a certified academic English trainer, a published author residing in the UAE.
Hello from a very hot Cape Town. I'm Sanai Swanepoel. I'm a self-awareness and growth coach at One Life Coaching, an entrepreneur, published author, and budding speaker. Uzma, is there a difference between productivity and focus? Do you think that we need focus to be productive? Or is it perhaps the other way around? Should we refrain from thinking so much about productivity and rather think more about focus?
I think, Sune, focus is your aim, the target point that your efforts are directed towards. When you focus on something, you almost lose sight of the other things because they don't seem important enough to get your attention. This means if you're focusing on the wrong things in life, you are by default neglecting the right things. If you're transfixed on the unimportant things, you are ignoring the important ones. Productivity is something I would describe as efficiency or output, simple and straightforward enough to be understood by everyone. It is kind of an equation that involves how much of a useful thing was done by you and the time duration involved. And how do you decide what is useful, you may ask? Well, your priorities and your to-do list will tell you what qualifies as useful. Say you like watching movies, so you decide to watch your favorites back to back for 5 hours. What happens then? Was that really a productive use of your time? If you had a sink full of dirty dishes, or if you needed to study or work on that presentation for work, the answer is, of course, no. So as far as what is more important goes, I guess they are both important, because if you don't focus to be more productive, or you aren't productive because you're focusing on things that you shouldn't even be thinking about, then you will not be able to get anything off your plate. In most cases, this may even lead to procrastination, and repeated procrastination makes you a pro at procrastination. What about you, Sune? What do you think about productivity and focus? We need to know what you think too, as there can be different answers depending on how you view these terms.
I agree with you. Productivity very much focuses on efficiency, production, and output. I think it takes a lot of creativity, drive, and inner motivation to be productive. Focus again means choosing between important and insignificant things in any given moment and removing the distractions from the equation. There is no focus without saying yes to some incentives and no to others. I feel that focus takes time, practice, and intention. Taking control of our concentration in an environment full of distractions is a challenging task. Focus often gets mistaken for its end product, productivity, of which the results are seen in the work we complete and the accomplishments that we achieve. I feel that the power of focus lies in shifting your mindset towards growth, both professionally and personally.
The biggest enemy in the story of self-growth is procrastination, hands down. It is like this villain that does not let productivity and focus have that idealistic marriage, that can give birth to self-growth. There have been many of us who took it too easy during the pandemic and lounged in our PJs for most part of the day and ended up adding several kilos to our physical existence. Although we could have worked out, become fitter, and have our best bodies ever, right? This is something that recently happened, so it's a valid example. But there have been people who actually did that. They came out fitter on the other side of the lockdown. And then how can we forget the people who actually used this period productively to upskill themselves, and now they have better career choices and opportunities at their disposal? These have been the productive lot. And there's the third category, who said they would get to it the next day, the next day, and the next day, and tomorrow never really comes, isn't it? They are the master procrastinators.
I think a lack of productivity is very much linked to a lack of focus. When people have trouble focusing, they tend to blame several external factors, when in fact it might be more beneficial for them to rather look inside for the reason for the distractions that are keeping them from being focused. They should rather decide to approach life with interest, engagement, and responsibility. When you are focused, you will find that you forget about the outside world and turn the most menial task into something meaningful and impactful. A great example of this is raising our children. We can have children, give them food, give them an education, and teach them manners. Job done. We were productive parents. Or we can raise our children with focus and intention, teaching them to be proper human beings that we one day can send into the world to make a difference and impact the world positively. But doing this takes focus and commitment.
Indeed, Sone, it is what you make it to be. If you just look at it as if you need to have and raise children because that's what everyone does, then providing for them in terms of a roof, food, and education may seem all that there is to it. But if you focus on the deeper implications your actions as a parent carry, then you'll realize that you're training someone's future spouse, someone's future neighbor, future boss, or colleague in the area of life.
That is quite a big responsibility that we have then. In closing, I want to emphasize the importance of practicing focus. Focusing on output, efficiency, and overall productivity can make you feel insecure, anxious, competitive. But spending quality time working and focusing on the task at hand is what matters. And productivity and results will come as a natural consequence of focus and interest. Once you stop obsessing over the end result and start enjoying the process, everything will fall into place.
So to get more tips on how to be productive in your day-to-day routine, get hold of us on
Facebook and Instagram, or subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channels if you don't want to miss out on more informative topics like this.
And I would like to ask you guys, are you dating anyone right now? Because next time we are going to be talking about dating. You also don't need to be married, please.
Yeah, no.
Drop us a line about any topics that you want to hear about from us. So until next time, it's me, Uzma.
And Sanai.
Signing off.
Bye.